The Garten of Banban redesign series is probably one of my most popular series on this channel, and you've heard me state several times that I actually plan to end it. This is definitely the penultimate part now. The next part is 100% going to be the finale. Because I'm not a big fan of the games or the series, and sometimes the Banban kids can get a little bit annoying, so I have been wanting to end it. But I've had a lot of time to think between this part, part 8, and the previous part, part 7. And now I realise something. Do I actually want to end this series? No. This is a series that you all greatly enjoy, and quite frankly I find it quite fun as well. You know, coming up with ways to redesign these characters and improve on what's already there, it's just so much fun. It's a really good test of my character design skills, and every single one I do is also practice and more experience gained. So I did have a long think about it, and you know what? I am not going to end this series. Now I may not do it as often as I used to, it may be large gaps between each part, but I am going to keep it going up until we run out of characters. Now, I will say, as much as I do, you know, really not enjoy the game series or anything, I do have to give it to the Euphoric brothers because I've seen some of the newer characters and the designs are getting so much better than they were. They're still not great, there could still be a lot of improvement, but they are definitely so much better. And the games now, rather than just seeming like games that were made in 10 minutes just to get a quick buck, actually look like they now have heart and passion put into them. So I really do have to commend the Euphoric brothers for that. Essentially, my opinion on the games has sort of changed from absolutely despising them to still not really liking them, but recognising that the devs are putting a lot more into it and are improving. Anyways, without further ado, I've chosen 3 more characters for this video to redesign, and let's get going with it. So first up, we have a highly requested character, that being the Nanny. Now, I had to go to the wiki to figure out what this thing even is. 5 seconds ago, I was praising the new designs, but this is one of their really bad designs, honestly. I couldn't figure out what the hell this thing was, and it took me going to the wiki to find out that it's meant to be a cow ballerina, which I can kind of see it. Not really at the same time. I mean, its face definitely looks more like a pig than a cow. Yeah, editing Jago here. No, she is meant to be a pig. I'm just stupid. She is actually a pig. So ignore everything I say here. I thought she was meant to be a cow. Apparently she is modelled after a pig, so that's my bad. But for this redesign, I've turned her into a cow. So, I don't know, it's a fun difference. And the only thing that gives you the idea of ballerina is the skirt made of flesh that it has. Other than that, it's just not got anything going for it. So this was going to be quite a drastic redesign. For her cartoon form, I definitely wanted to give her the role of a caretaker of children, so a nanny, which I assume is where she gets her name from. But to also have her have an interest in dancing, and obviously specifically ballet. So I gave her a very cow-like face, trying to make sure it didn't look like a pig, and a lot of this was going to come from her pose and her clothing. So for the pose, I had her have 2 hands together in a polite sort of ready to dance way, be quite thin and tapering towards each other, and her feet, her hooves, are actually really small to represent how ballerinas walk on their toes a lot, so they actually dance on their toes. And so this is a representation of that. Her clothing is a generic ballerina style, and I sort of felt like she looked a little bit too childlike. You know, she's meant to be one of the adult workers at the school, so I gave her some makeup to age her up a little bit. As for her colouring, I went some nice bright blues, not too oversaturated but enough to relate to the cartoon form. Now, the classic cow that we all know is the Frisian cow, and that's the white one with black spots. It's the most recognisable cow, and that's the pattern I went for as a result. Even though she's blue, that sort of patchy spotted pattern is most recognisable as being a cow. It sounds like I'm insulting her every time I say that, like, you're a cow. After I got the colours sorted out, it was just doing a little bit of painting and rendering, just to add in the 3D forms. But of course not too much because this is her cartoon form, which doesn't need too much detail. Now, her monster form I struggled a lot with. It was hard for me to get an idea of what I wanted to do, so I had to really think about it, and in the end I settled on a really tall, lanky cow with limbs that are long and thin in a very uncanny way. I wanted to have her in a sort of ballet pose, but also in a way it looks like she's striding towards you. And just in general looks quite awkward and not very graceful, which contrasts with their ballerina look. And I also wanted to give her a great big smile, because all of this adds into this uncanny valley vibe, and if this thing is seen coming towards you in the dark, that's gonna be incredibly creepy. I also wanted to keep the idea of the flesh skirt that the original has, because that's actually quite a cool idea for a design, to have the parts of the personality that is in the clothing actually be parts of the body. So what I decided was to have not only the skirt, but the whole sort of ballerina outfit be actually parts of the nanny's flesh. And a lot of that will come more into play in colouring. There is actually only one cow that I know of in the world that is blue in colour, and that is the Latvian blue. It's a very rare cow breed, but as you can see in this reference image, it actually has bluish grey hair. So that's what I ended up basing this off. I gave her a general coat of bluish grey, and then added darker blue on the ends of her limbs, and a lighter pale blue around the face and neck. Closely referencing my reference image right there. I also wanted to keep it even more uncanny, so I gave her red luscious lips, as if she still has the lipstick on that you can see in her cartoon form. As for her ballerina outfit, to mimic the breast, I tried to make it look more like a cow udder because that would make sense, but I kept it not so detailed because that'd be kind of weird. And I just basically painted a somewhat pink tone over the top of the blue that's already there, not fully filling it in, but enough to give it the idea that it is this stretched out flesh that is creating what looks like an outfit and clothes, but it isn't, it's part of her body. And again, that really leads into the uncanny valley vibe. It just feels wrong and off, and that would be unsettling and potentially scary to a player. Once all her rendering is done, just to give everything the 3D form and the texture it needs, it was then onto a little bit of shading just to make everything pop out a bit more, and she was all done. Next up is yet another highly requested character, and that is Ramamba. We've gone from one of the worst designs in the series to one of the better ones. Canon Ramamba that's in the game. The body is quite bad, you can see the rig isn't very good, but the face, you know, its actual head, if that thing kind of loomed over me from the dark in a horror game, I would be terrified. Like, 100% honesty, that would scare me. And when it came to redesigning, it was more so just adding my own flair and idea that I had for the character, rather than trying to improve on it. I mean, there are things in this design that could be improved, but I think some of that comes down to model quality rather than design. Anyways, my version of Ramamba will be the school janitor. Oh, but how could a snake be a janitor, you may say? Well, that's the funny part. It's ironic that this creature with no limbs is the one that has to do all the tasks that require arms. But to make him fit into the janitor role, I not only gave him a janitor blue top, but I also gave him belts across his body that held different tools that a janitor would use. At the end of his tail, he also holds a set of keys so he can get around the school after hours. As for the Ramamba part of the design, based on the name I can assume that he is a ram plus a mamba. A ram being a type of like mountain goat, and a mamba being a type of snake. Specifically, I chose the black mamba, which is one of the most venomous land snakes in the world. It's called the black mamba not because of its scales, but because of its pure black mouth, which is something I would be incorporating into the monster design, but for now we're just looking at the coloration of the scales for the cartoon design. My idea was to have a goat's face and goat's head with the horns, and then have the fur kind of taper down almost in a mullet going down the neck, which leads into the rest of the snake body. As for colouring, like I said previously, we're going for the scale colours of the black mamba, which are ironically silver, and a little bit of like beige brown as well. As for the ram part, I wanted to go the brown of a ram. The only part here that isn't really realistic is the colour of the horns, because I felt a sort of beigey natural colour would blend in too much with the colour of the scales and the snake body. So I went for the blue instead because I wanted to keep a little bit of the original Ramamba flair, and the original Ramamba is quite blue. So there's a little homage to the original design. I also gave him a little name tag, which has a little Banban head symbol on it, that being like the logo of the school or whatever, and his name on it too. I had quite a clear idea in my head of what I wanted to do for his monster design. I definitely wanted to show off the black mouth of the black mamba, so his mouth was going to be wide open. I also wanted to utilise the fact that snakes can split their jaw apart. Now, it's a common misconception that snakes dislocate their jaws when eating. They don't dislocate their jaws. What they actually do is they will split their bottom jaw in half to stretch it out. But they're not actually splitting it in half. The bones are in two halves, but there's a ligament between the two that holds it together. It's like a stretchy bit of elastic. And they can pull their jaw apart like that to fit prey in. So I wanted to show Ramamba doing that as well. Ready to swallow you whole. It took me a long time to get his head right though, because I was doing it at a very awkward angle. But in the end, I think I got somewhere that I liked. He almost ended up looking a little bit skeletal on his head, which I think just adds to the creepiness. As for his body, we don't have the tools there anymore. Instead, we have a scale snake body, and we can see patches of scales that are lifted up where goat's fur is pushing its way through. So we're really blending the idea of ram and snake more here than we are with the cartoon design. Really making it look like it's a sort of genome that's gone awry here. He also still has a key, because I thought in game, this guy is definitely big enough and, you know, impressive enough to be a boss. I don't know if he's a boss fight canonically in the actual game he appears in, but in my head he would be a boss fight. And I reckon you would fight him, defeat him, and you'd be able to get the key that he holds to move on to the next area. I made that key also have a broken end to it, so it's like a sharp instrument that he can also stab you with. As for colouring, I went pretty much the same colour scheme as I did in the cartoon form, but this time a lot more muted and more realistic and natural. Also, I forgot to mention that I decided to add goat teeth in his mouth as well. So we have the two really long snake fangs that can come out and try to get you, but we also have the molars of a herbivore from the ram. It's this sort of weird combination that feels really off and wrong, which again leads into that uncanny vibe. When it came to texturing, there was no way I was going to do every single scale. That would have taken way too long and would have been a pain to do, and I'm especially not prepared to do that when this isn't like my most highly detailed art, so this series is just concepts rather than really highly detailed stuff. So instead I just put impressions of scales in areas where they really stand out, which is mainly where they've been lifted up and fur is coming through. I just used a lighter tone and just, literally put blobs of paint to mimic where a scale would be. The rest of the texturing was quite simple though. Fur is always quite easy for me to do if it's sort of coarser fur like this, because I just use the two tones and quickly do strokes back and forth, letting the watercolour brush blend it together itself, and it just creates this really nice simple fur texture. Now, if you were to say to me, hey Drago, who's your favourite Garten of Banban character? Well, first of all, I'd say, are you mad? I don't have one. Second of all, I'd say, it's this dude, Mr. Kabob Man. Why do I like him so much? Because he's so fucking stupid. And he just makes me laugh every single time I look at him. I had to do a redesign of this guy at some point. It just had to happen. He's so funny. And because of that, I was not going to change his design very much at all. I decided his role in the school would be the school chef or cook. You'd find him in the dining hall, making all the food for the children to eat. And I thought of this because his name is Mr. Kabob Man, which is like a food, so that's why I made that association. So really, when it came to his design in his cartoon form, it was making the original design, but also giving him an apron, a chef's hat, and some utensils. I'm sorry, this guy's just so funny. He is now a little chef stick man, and we love him for that. It is a great mystery of Banban's kindergarten on how the hell this thing even cooks. His arms don't move. His eyes look like they're just glued on googly eyes. I mean, no one even sees him move. But somehow, in some way, he gets fresh food in that cafeteria every single day. It is a great mystery. and we will never know how he does it. Well done, Mr. Kabob Man. Well done. So, his monster form, if you could even really call it that. Yeah, not much different here either. I literally took the cartoon design and then I made it a bit more realistic and in proportion. You know, made it so the ropes made a bit more sense, made the ties a bit more detailed. Made it so the party hats are actually hanging in a way that they would realistically rather than being perfectly placed on his ear antenna things. But this time you better watch your back. Because now he's angry. He has some great big angry eyebrows that he has glued onto himself. Where did he get them from? Who knows? Oh, and that's not it. He has knives now. Oh, he's ready for you. He is coming for your ass. You will turn around and you will see this dude behind you coming out from nowhere. He will just be there in the shadows with his 2 knives glaring at you. And every time you turn around, he'll be there, getting ever so slightly closer each time. Just creeping forward towards you without you ever even seeing him move. And he's gotta get you. I don't know, I just want to be really silly with this one, you know? He's such a stupid design in a funny way that I had to lean into the hilarity of his design here. So he brandishes knives and he has a bloody apron. So much for being a chef, he's now a butcher. And yeah, you know what? That's pretty much all I've got to say for this guy. Enjoy! Right, it's been 9 months since the last part, but here we are finally with 3 new Banban redesigns. That being the Nanny, Ramamba, and the GOAT, Mr. Kabob Man. We love you, Mr. Kabob Man. Let me know in the comments down below which of these 3 are your favourites for this video, which design do you like the best, and also let me know while you're down there which of the Banban characters you'd like to see me redesign next, because in the next part we'll do 3 more, and we'll keep doing parts with 3 in each until we finally get through every single character. Hey you Folk Brothers, can you maybe slow down with the games and let me catch up? Okay, cool, thank you. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, maybe leave a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And hit the bell to turn on notifications to know when I next upload. Also be aware that I'm doing a new live stream schedule. On this channel I will be live streaming every Friday at 4 PM GMT time. And on my gaming channel, which is in the description, I will be streaming every Saturday at 4 PM GMT time. So yeah, I hope you guys can look forward to that. And I will see all of you wonderful people in the next video. Bye!